What is happening, sports fans? It's your main man, Matt, rocking it solo from the DFS 5-pack. It is Wednesday, September week 3. NFL starts tomorrow. Everyone's excited for that, even though not the best game. But we've got a full weekend full of football. We got MLB still in full swing. Teams fighting for the playoffs. So I'm excited to get after it. I love all baseball, end of season baseball, playoff baseball, you name it. I love it. I'm excited to get after this slate tonight, so let's do it. All righty, as far as pitching options go, it's a pretty similar slate to last night, except we don't have as many good options. Zach Wheeler stands out as the top dog in all formats, like by a lot. He hasn't been quite as good as he was like at the beginning of the year, but still it's pretty damn good. More than fairly priced at 10-4, and he's in a great spot at home against Baltimore. You know, they lose their DH. Not that their lineup's amazing anyways. I think you look at him as the top option in all formats today. Luis Garcia, I really struggle to get here over Wheeler. I mean, I think you could make the case to just spend down on pitching, but I don't really like Garcia over Wheeler. Bueller's interesting. I liked Urias a little bit last night. Bueller not pitching great right now. He was pretty good against the Reds before he got hit a little bit late. He's obviously better at home. Really, really tough spot for Bueller. I just like him so much more than Garcia as a pitcher. Like, I'd take the chance on Bueller from going to one of these guys. Chris Sale, I mean, I think he's in play, but nothing more. Like, he's getting love. This is more name than anything. Like, doesn't have any starts where you need him at 9,600. You know, that 21 and 25 are obviously good, but he hasn't, doesn't throw a ton of pitches. The K upside isn't really there. One of these games he's going to be really, really good. And if you want to take that chance tonight, I doubt he ruins your lineup, but there's just other guys I like more. Corey Kluber, doubtful that he's one of them. He threw 95 pitches last time, a good spot against Texas, but I don't trust that, so not for me. Ian Anderson, I don't know. He looks a little bit pricey. I get it. I'm a fan of his stuff, but I don't know. I don't really feel good about Anderson here. Joe Ryan is a guy I think we can look at. Wind blowing in hard in Chicago. This guy's got good stuff. Had good numbers in the minors this year. Was one of the key pieces in the Nelson Cruz trade, came over from Tampa. At 8,200, he's getting love, and I get it. I don't care about taking chalky pitchers. I'll just get different offensively. And, as of right now, I think Ryan and Wheeler are my two favorite guys. Brent Anderson, no. Hendricks, I mean, he's always been better at home. This year he sucks everywhere. I don't trust that. I'm not really interested. Marquez, whenever you see Marquez at this low of a price point, you have some interest. He was not good at all last time out against Washington. Aside from that Philly start, hasn't been pitching great, man. Just too tough of a spot to want to use Marquez. Velasquez, no. Flexen, I don't hate it. I mean, I know Ryan has been higher on him all year than I have. I don't hate it. No thanks on Taijuan Walker. Miles Mikolas, no thanks. Although he was good last time out against the Padres, I expect him to come back down to earth. I mean, he's cheap, 6,500. Obviously not a great spot against the Braves, but, Kelly had been having a pretty good year. I don't think he's crazy at 6,500, like at all. Jansen Junk, no thanks. Kazmir, definitely not. Cole Irvin, really, really cheap, getting love, and it makes sense. Man, he's just so cheap. I don't think he's like chalk or anything, because people will want to spend up on pitching, but as the cheap guy, it looks like he's coming in as the most popular, and it makes sense. Don't really feel good about any of these guys down here. I do think I like Merrill Kelly in tournaments over Irvin. That's not saying a lot, but that's how I feel. Honestly, though, right now in all formats, if I were building one line, it would be Wheeler and Ryan, and we'll do what we need to do offensively. So speaking of offenses, we've got the Orioles and the Phillies. Wheeler against Keegan Aiken. I'm not interested at all in the Orioles here. Keegan Aiken, a lot worse on the road. He's not good at home, but he's a lot worse on the road. I think the Phillies are surely in play here. Bryce Harper, lefty on lefty, not going to get a ton of love. I mean, continues to make a strong push for NL MVP. I like him a lot. Andrew McCutchen's cheap at 3,800. Real Muto ended up having a big game last night. Doubled, tripled, and stole a base. So yeah, 4,800. That's more where he should be priced at, even maybe a little bit higher. I like him, Harper, Segura. Their lineup's not that sexy, but they're definitely in a good spot here against Keegan Aiken and the Orioles bullpen. They haven't been great the past couple of days, but I feel like one of these games are going to go off, and I could easily see it being tonight. All right, next up, Taylor Hearn against Corey Kluber. As much as I don't really want to use Kluber, I struggle to want to stack Texas on this type of slate. They're expensive also for like the guys you want. Yadiel Hearn. I mean, Texas is like $1,000 more than the Yankees. What? So as far as the Yankees go, I mean, they play all over from Sanchez, Rizzo, Vogt at 3,200, LeMahieu leading off at 4K, Torres. He is not having a good year, but he's so cheap. Urshela at the bottom of the lineup. All the outfielders homered yesterday, Judge, Stanton, and Gallo. And then cheap, you got Brett Gardner, who, he's not good, but he's been better in the second half of the season. At 2,200, if he makes the lineup, he's in play. So, yeah, the Yankees look like they're getting quite a bit of love. And in cash games, I think you take a long look at them as filler pieces like with the Astros and Dodgers. And full stacking them also makes sense in tournaments if you really want to plant your flag there. I will say Taylor Hearn got lit up his last start against the White Sox. Outside of that, he'd been pretty solid. So just worth noting. Not that, he's in play at all. Next up, we got the Mets and the Red Sox. So Taijuan Walker against Chris Sale. I mean, Taijuan Walker was really good to start the year. Then he had a stretch where he was awful. Now he's been okay, but he still gives up a lot of power, and this is not a good spot for him in Boston with the DH hitter's ballpark. Boston stack definitely in play for me as like a low-owned tournament stack that with a ton of upside. They're expensive enough where they probably won't get a ton of love with the likes of the Dodgers and the Yankees who are cheap and the Braves and the Astros on this slate. But man, the Red Sox are highly in play for me. Schwarber, Renfroe, Martinez, I like all of them. Kike leading off on fire right now. Yeah, I'm about it. And then the Mets, like Sale has not been electric at all since coming back. And I don't know. Belando homered last night. He's very affordable. The Red Sox don't have a first baseman you really feel like you need to use. So I could see a stacking Boston with Alonso. And then, Baez and Lindor. I'm not excited about the Mets here because Chris Sale is good, but I don't mind a mini stack either because the Red Sox bullpen isn't great. And Sale has been off a bunch this year. So just worth pointing out. Big winds blowing in Chicago. As much as I don't really like Hendricks these days, I'm not interested in offense in this game. Brewers and Cardinals, Miles Mikolas against Brett Anderson. This is an interesting one. I'm not looking at either pitcher here, so I think both offenses are in play. They probably get a little bit overlooked. You got a good hitter's park. Goldie's cooled down a bit, but man, he's really turned it on from when he started off the season slow. Arenado cheap as hell at 4,600 against a lefty on the road. Tyler O'Neill, big boy power. Cardinals. Brett Anderson is a guy I feel like I have to pick on. Like if the team is facing him and they're chalk, not interested. But St. Louis is going to get no love. He's first start off the IL. Don't hate it at all. And then same for Milwaukee. Mikolas was good last time out, but he's very hit or miss. San Diego has been very hit or miss recently. They went through a really cold stretch. You look at his starts before that. I mean, I expect more like one of those than I do that San Diego start. Milwaukee at home. Yeah, no really one guy in particular except maybe Adames. He's so cheap for what he offers, but he definitely has cooled down. I know he was on the IL for a while, but he had cooled down from that, starting off as a Brewer so hot. Yelich is really expensive, really inexpensive, cheap Vogie. Narvaez is the most expensive piece with Escobar, which is pretty weird. Wong's cheap. So yeah, both offenses in this game in play for me. I mean, then we get to the big boy. We got the Dodgers and the Rockies. I'm not interested in picking on Walker Buehler. I don't care where he's pitching. Doesn't matter. Not here. And then I don't really love stacking against Marquez either. That said, like Marquez not in great form. When he gets hit, when he's not on, like he's off. So you saw it last time out against Washington. Not a great lineup. He got lit up. If he has that same stuff today, he will get crushed by the Dodgers. And they got some cheap pieces now with Bellinger going on the IL. Not that he was expensive anyways, but you've got Lux in there. Luke Raley was in there last night. So you've got cheap pieces to go along with the expensive pieces. Seager's way too cheap at 43. Turner, Muncy, Smith, and Betts are expensive. But then they got three other really cheap pieces in, either Beatty or Raley probably. Gavin Lux, and Corey Seager. So almost half the stack's too cheap. Makes it easy to fit the more expensive guys. So I think the Dodgers are, right there with the Yankees and Astros and cash games is the place you want to be. Speaking of the Astros, really good night for them last night. Now they're facing appropriately named Jansen Junk. Bregman should be back in there tonight. I like guys coming off a day off. I saw Altuve have a monster game after a day off. I like Bregman a lot here. Correa, Alvarez, Gurriel. I like this whole stack. Like on paper, even more so than the Yankees. I talked about the Red Sox. On paper, I think Houston's the top stack on the board. They got going in a big way. They got cheap pieces to go with the expensive pieces. I like Bregman a ton, but I also like Altuve, Alvarez, Gurriel, Correa, Tucker. So, team is wildly in play. And it is a reason why teams like the Red Sox and, to a lesser degree like the Mets and stuff aren't going to get any love, which is, intriguing in tournaments, if nothing else. Braves and D-backs. We've got Ian Anderson against Merrill Kelly. This is interesting. Looks like Ian Anderson's getting some love. I get that. Not like chalky or anything. Not really looking too hard at the Diamondbacks. They're just not good. The guys you want are expensive as hell. So no thanks there. The Braves, though, certainly in play. Have had a nice series so far in Arizona, and I see no reason why I would not continue tonight. Freeman's hot. Riley, I know, homered last night. Pretty sure Albie's homered. I played the late slate and it killed me. Atlanta looks like they're not getting as much love as a couple of those other teams I mentioned, the Yankees, Astros, and Dodgers specifically. So in tournaments, that makes me for sure intrigued. I also get the Merrill Kelly side, though, if you want to spend down on pitching and load up on one of those other offenses. So classic case where I could see both sides. On paper, I definitely lean with Atlanta, though. All righty, Seattle and Oakland. We've got Cole Irvin against who's pitching for Seattle? Chris Flexen. So this is interesting because I don't think either of these pitchers are really good. I'm always interested in a lower-owned Oakland. That's the case tonight. Flexen is not a guy I feel like I have to pick on. Bad ballpark, but Oakland will get no love. So I know Olsen homered last night, and Marte homered. You want to go right back to those two. These guys are going to be super low-owned, and they're good. So that's the case for them. Seattle, the case is that Irvin's going to be decently popular. He's not great. They're so expensive, though. Seattle is just, I can't get to Seattle. They're going to get no love. We're about to talk about San Francisco. We'll get no love because of that. Seager's actually finally cheaper. If I were to get to one guy, it'd be Seager. He can crush lefties. He's finally affordable. It'd be Seager for sure. We'll say Dylan Moore started last night against a righty. He looks good right now. You check the game log. He will definitely be in there against a lefty. And maybe don't have to worry too much about the pinch hit risk because he's been playing every day for the past couple days. I like him a lot as a filler piece, like for sure. All formats. All right, then we get to a weird one. We got Scott Kazmir. Welcome back to like the 1990s, it feels like. Not that far deep, but it feels like it. Against Vince Velasquez. Neither pitcher's in play for me at all. Velasquez sucks. Kazmir, don't really know what to expect. He's spent most of the season at AAA. He's got a full leash, it seems. I don't know, though. Like, San Fran has a good bullpen, but was kind of waiting for Machado to go off. I thought it might happen last night. Unfortunately, I got stuck on Gaussman. Damn, he went yard twice. I didn't even realize that. That stings. I think you might see Machado get real hot towards the end of the season after that feud with Tatis. Might get these guys going. Speaking of Tatis, he's wildly in play. I like the Tatis Machado like mini stack. If you want to go even deeper and like stack the Padres, I get it. Those by far my favorite pieces, and I could just easily see calling it off there. That said, we know Pham crushes lefties. He's been better of late. He's finally affordable. Will Myers, he didn't play last night. I bet we'll see him in there tonight. The more I look at the Padres, the more I like them. Kazmir, not great, at all. He's old. And the Padres are good and going to be low owned. The Giants are also in play for me. Velasquez sucks. Problem is they're so pricey. Belt and Crawford, two lefties you really want, close to 6K. Chris Bryant, 53. Even guys like Yaz and Wade, close to 5K. Posey, 53. This team is almost impossible to stack. So they'll have some cheap pieces, like I mentioned with the Dodgers, but even though the Dodgers are expensive, they're a lot easier to stack than the Giants. I think I prefer the Padres side of this because of that. If I can get to the Giants, great. Like Belt, Crawford, mini stack, Belt, Crawford, Bryant, Posey. Those guys are all over 5K. That's like 2,200 almost combined. So you're going to have to spend down somewhere. Just know that if you're going with the Giants. Same with like Machado and Tatis. Those guys are pricey, which will keep their ownership down, which makes me like them more in tournaments, even though they'll be harder to fit. That is what I got for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm digging these MLB videos, getting them out solo, fast and furious. I'm always available for questions if you have any. If you want to go check out the DFS 5-pack, we'd love to have you. Get on that more content, more videos tip. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great Wednesday. I'll talk to you soon. Appreciate you as always.